Hello, my name is Carol Anstett. I will be talking about the Montessori method and how it was developed. I have created a fictitious child to demonstrate how the Montessori method is effective in aiding all areas of a child's development. Maria Montessori was born in Italy in 1870. Upon her graduation from medical school in 1896, she became the first female physician in Italy, breaking through the stereotypical gender roles of her time. She went on to study psychology and philosophy, but in 1906 she left both her medical practice and her life in academia to study and work with children. Montessori was invited to create a child care center for a group of 60 children who were the children of working parents in the San Lorenzo district of Rome. She formed a school for these children and called it Casa dei Bambini, or the Children's House. She viewed her work with these children as scientific observations, and she was excited to try out her educational theories and observe how the children would respond to them. Montessori had been studying the work of two physician scientists, Jean-Marc Gaspard Attard and Edward Seguin. These scientists were using sensory training with children with special needs. Montessori believed that the use of this sensory training could also be beneficial in educating all children. She wanted to change the popular method of instruction, which was teacher-based and rote memorization, to a more child-directed and independent method of learning. Her method would take advantage of the child's inner motivation to learn and pair it with a key time in the child's sensory development. The Children's House at San Lorenzo would give Montessori the perfect opportunity to develop her teaching methods, and it was here that the Montessori method was begun. Montessori said about education, "Education is a natural process carried out by the child and is not acquired by listening to words, but by experience in the environment." Montessori's main philosophy is based on liberty and that children should work at their own pace, allowing them to take ownership of their education. They would work independently, using special materials under the guidance of a teacher. Students are to be given large blocks of uninterrupted time to work on activities of their own choosing. This allows the child to solve problems independently while building self-confidence and self-reliance. Maria Montessori designed and developed many unique manipulative and didactic materials that helps motivate and stimulate learning in young children. These materials educate the child's visual and tactile senses and are designed that the child can learn through trial and error while working independently. In the Montessori method, the child is learning through his senses, through the environment, and with these special manipulative materials. The teacher's role is not to give direct instruction. She is a trained observer who guides the child in his independent learning, but does not correct his mistakes. The child's knowledge needs to be gained through active self-discovery and not through passive listening. Montessori said about the role of a teacher, "Indeed, with my methods, the teacher teaches little and observes much, and above all, it is her function to direct the psychic activity of the children and their psychological development. For this reason, I have changed the name of the teacher into that of directress." In a Montessori education, the classroom design is very important. The teacher must design the classroom to facilitate maximum independent learning and exploration. It is an environment of mixed age students, usually between the ages of 2 and 5. The belief is that the younger children will learn and be motivated by observing the work of the older students. The special didactic materials are stored on low, easy accessible shelves. The children are given the opportunity to choose their materials and to work with them for as long as they hold their attention. When the child loses interest in the activity, he returns the materials to their place on the shelf and chooses a new activity. The children learn practical life skills and take pride in caring for their classroom. This includes sweeping, cleaning, helping to prepare snacks, and then cleaning up again after. Montessori's unique materials are a key component in her educational method. The success of these materials is on how they train the child's sensory learning. The child learns through repetition and trial and error. The materials are self-correcting, so the child learns through their own observations. The younger children use cylinders, blocks, and geometric shapes to learn about form and dimensions. Older children use sandpaper, letters, and rods to train their senses and prepare them for reading and arithmetic. This is Sam. Sam is a 4-year-old boy who has been studying at Montessori school since the age of 2. He is now one of the older children in the classroom and is well accustomed to Montessori's independent style of learning. At Sam's school, practical life and social skills are taught daily. Sam enjoys helping to clean the classroom. He feels pride at being able to set an example for the younger students in his mixed age class. His school has a vegetable garden and raises chickens in the schoolyard. Sam loves caring for the plants and feeding the chickens. Maria Montessori believed that it was essential for the children to learn these life skills in order to build their self-confidence and self-reliance. Her very first school, Casa dei Bambini, maintained a garden from which the children grew their own food and raised and cared for many animals. Montessori said about this: when a child knows that the life of the plants that have been sown depends upon his care in watering them, and that of the animals upon his diligence in feeding them, without which the little plant dries up and the animals suffer hunger, the child becomes vigilant as one who is beginning to feel a mission in life. When it is time for Sam to choose an independent activity, he often chooses the pink blocks. These pink blocks can be built into a tower by placing the largest block at the base and then placing the others in order of size until the smallest block is on top. Sam has done this activity many times and has learned that the tower cannot be completed unless all the blocks are placed in their proper order. Many times he has witnessed his mistake of missing a block and has had to start over. He enjoys the physical exercise of building a tower almost as tall as himself. He can build a tower quickly now and enjoys using the knowledge of dimensions that this exercise has taught him. By using his senses and being active in his learning, Sam's body is helping to cement this knowledge of dimensions into his memory. This is a key component of Montessori's teaching philosophy. Montessori believed that what the hand does, the mind remembers. At his Montessori school, Sam is beginning the process of learning to read. In the Montessori way, learning to write precedes learning to read. Sam works with sandpaper letters, tracing the letter with his fingertip. While he is tracing the letters, he repeats the phonetic sound it makes. Even though Sam has moved on to now writing the letters with a pencil, each child in his classroom goes through this tracing activity daily. He then moves on to the letter cards and practices spelling out words using the letter sounds in which he is now quite familiar. Montessori believed that the tactile sense of tracing a letter, paired with the vision sense, fixes the forms into the child's memory. The repetition of these exercises allow the child to move on to writing letters with ease. Montessori had observed that once the child began writing the letters, that was quickly followed with a spontaneous forming of words. Another didactic material that Sam enjoys using are the rods. These rods are of alternating colors, graduated in length, and arranged on a scale of a meter. By placing the shorter pieces with the longer ones, Sam can create units of 10. He has learned that he can place a rod of 3 with a rod of 7 to make 10. He can then place a rod of 4 with a rod of 6, and so on and so on. Sam is learning the basics of arithmetic with this fun and simple activity. With the liberty of self-directed education, Sam has learned self-reliance and self-discipline and has developed a strong sense of pride. Montessori believed that a classroom filled with children working intently and independently was a well-disciplined classroom. She called this spontaneous discipline. A child cannot learn to behave just by being told to behave. It needs to come from the child's own desire for order. She was happy to observe that the child is able to solve problems independently, building self-confidence, analytical thinking, and the satisfaction that comes with accomplishment. Montessori felt that this inner discipline and peace through concentrated work was the most important single result of her studies. The Montessori method was first introduced to the United States in 1913, but after some initial interest, it faded away. In 1960, there was a resurgence of interest and the American Montessori Society was established. Today, there are over 5,000 Montessori schools in the United States, with another 20,000 worldwide. Most of the Montessori schools are private, but there are over 200 public schools in the United States using the Montessori method. It is one of the fastest growing forms of education in the world, with millions of children being educated in the self directed style. Thank you.